What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since I've done a vlog, but let's start this one off with salon ownership. I get this question a lot. Now, Dad, I want to open a nail salon, and I get it from beginners. I get it from nail techs that have been seasoned in the industry for a long time. Here's a few things that we should look out for, we should know before we start our next journey in our career into salon ownership. First, for any beginner nail techs or nail techs that's been in the industry for less than 3 years, you have to know if salon ownership is for you or not. I know that it may look good to be able to see all these salons making money, but it may not be for you. As in, like, you need to go work at a salon first and see how it operates, see what the salon goes through, the ins and outs, before you decide, hey, is this something I want to do? You might think that's what you want to do because now you're making good money by yourself and you can schedule yourself, you can, do other things. But once you open a salon, you're no longer one person. As a solo nail tech or nail tech working in a nail salon, even, you won't have to worry about yourself majority of the time. As long as you do good work, good service, you can build your clientele, you can make money, and you have very low expenses. But there's only so much we can make by ourselves, right? As in, you're capped at some point. The consistency of your work, you may have a time where you're working the hardest and you have the most clients and you're making the most money, but it's never going to be sustainable in the long run. Especially if you've been in the industry 5 year plus, you know you start to kind of develop issues, even maybe reaction, contact dermatitis with the product, back problems, whatever it is that you want to just kind of take a step back from, working in the chair. And being a salon owner is a perfect fit for it, right? Because now you just run the front desk and everybody will work. You take your 40% and you can generate more income because the more nail techs you have, it's going to be more income for you that you're going to be able to get past that income cap that you had. So you work and you invested that money in, and you know that you want to do a salon, and you've worked in a salon. This is what you want to do, right? The next thing to look for is, will you be able to spend the next 2 to 3 years at least in the salon full time? You're gonna be working your hardest in those first 2 to 3 years because no one's gonna take care of your salon like you're gonna take care of your salon. And a lot of people think opening a salon, nail techs can just walk through that door. Hey, you may have that, but not every nail tech that walks through your door is going to be experienced. You're going to have to go through a lot of nail techs before you find the right ones that are willing to work with you, stay there, build up your business, and grow as a team. Now, before you even open the salon, you got to know what type of salon do you want to operate. As in, how big do you want in your salon? Now, the size of your salon really is a big factor, and also the location of your salon because it affects with the rent. Rent salon wise is by square footage. Just because you have enough money to open a big salon does not necessarily mean that you should open a big salon. Because opening a big salon means your square footage is going to go up. You're going to be paying more rent per square footage, and you have to know your budget. As in, how much are you willing to pay rent each month to stay sustainable? Majority of the time, when you open a salon, you have to work in the beginning because you're not going to have nail techs right away unless you have a preset team or people that are willing to work with you, or a partner or something like that. Two-man team, pretty much back in the day, mom and pop shops, they're like, husband and wife, something like that. They can sustain a small 800 to 1,000 square feet salon fairly easy given the rent at the time. But now, if you open a salon, you got to know what your rent is so you know how much money you're going to be forking out every month because the landlord does not care if it's a slow season or clients are not coming in. They want their rent. They wanted the rent no matter what. Even during COVID, they did not care. I told them, hey, listen, we're forced to close by the state. Well, you deal with the state. You still got to pay us rent. There you go. And now, once you have your rent down and you know what size salon you want to do, you got to put money aside. As in, your first year is the most important year of your salon or your business because that will make or break you. A lot of salons fail within the first year because they can't stay open. The process of building up your salon, it's almost like being a beginner as a nail tech. It's going to be a struggle in the beginning. Finding nail techs, letting go of nail techs coming in and out. You're going to go through a lot of that as a salon owner, and you're going to have to be able to deal with that stress of being in the salon and working 24 hours dealing with nail techs, different personalities outside yours, and also the financial burden of paying rent and all the other expenses and supplies. So if you can't handle that rent and you're gonna go month by month, you're gonna be financially burdened and stressed, and also have to deal with the salon operation stress, which is gonna eventually gonna be too much for you. So my suggestion: always put at least 6 months of money on the side for rent. As in, like, let's say you have a slow season, whatever, a slow month, or your building phase. At least you know that your rent is covered without eating into your personal, as in money that you need for your personal life and your home, rent at home, and car and fees and stuff like that. So that money you have to put aside as in, hey, I can't touch this money. This money is for whenever I'm short on rent, so that I'm not financially burdened while I'm operating the salon. And that will allow you to kind of more successfully run your salon in a way that you will be able to focus more on the salon and not more of the financial burdens. And it will definitely make your salon experience a lot smoother, trust me. So there's a lot of, nail techs that enter this industry. I even have it in my DMs when I answer questions that will say, hey, nail tech, I just opened a salon and I can't find nail techs and I can't afford the rent. And I put in 20, 30,000 or 50,000 into the salon. And I always ask them, well, how long is your lease? And luckily, some of them will say, hey, I only got a 1 year lease. I'm like, well, that's good, because you can not renew your lease and just take your loss. And at that point, they're like, well, I, I don't want to lose $20,000, $30,000. I'm like, well, you are going to be in a salon where you're not generating income. You're in the negatives every month. And then also you're paying rent and all the expenses every month. Just staying open, you're not making any money. And you have to be there 24/7. Your time is actually worth more than whatever money you put in there. Because now if you shift back and you don't renew your lease and you go back to just working as a nail tech, you can always make that money back. When you open a salon, the equipment, everything you put in there, that's a risk already. That does not add value to your salon as much as having nail techs. Okay? So even if a salon is $1 million, and they have no nail tech, it's not worth $1 million to a potential person that wants to buy it. So I always ask them, how much long is your lease? Luckily, some of them are 1 year, but majority of good location, which is, as a salon owner, you have to find a good location, will be 5 to 10 years. And you got to know that location, meaning good traffic, foot traffic, good parking, other businesses in the area. Now it's going to raise your rent up higher. And it's very appealing to have a great location. But now sometimes people jump into that not thinking about, okay, now I have a good location. My rent's going to be so much higher. I'll probably make enough money to be able to pay that. I'm not worried about that. Well, you have to assume that when you open your salon, no matter how good your location is, that you will have to still struggle, because nail techs are not going to come and work for you just because you open a salon. There might be other competition salons in the area. It might take you time to bring those nail techs in, or even expose your salon to let nail techs know that, hey, I'm here. And during that time, it's when you're going to be working your butt off 24/7. And majority of the time, the 1 year mark is where you have to understand, do I stay open, or do I have to make plans to sell? Maybe someone else that has more time, or they have more nail techs that they can, in their family or something like that, or their team, they can shift over. That's a potential, option for a lot of people. And there are some people that just hold on. They hold on for dear life, as in, because they put so much money into it, they just can't let it go. And it's a very tough situation to be in. And for me, I value my time over the investment I put in. I would just think, oh, that's just a failed investment. But I'm not going to spend another 2, 3 years in the negatives just trying to make back that investment. It's almost like you gambled and you lost. And you're just trying to stay at the casinos for as long as possible, which is potentially can get better, but there's a chance that you're going to be digging yourself in a bigger hole. So I'd rather value my time more and shift my time somewhere else where I can generate income and make up for that, and then move on with my career and say, hey, I tried the salon and it didn't work. And at least I'm not wasting my time in the salon where I kind of invested in that didn't work. So there's a few things right there that you can look at from salon ownership perspective to know that if this journey is for you or not. And majority of the time is not, is definitely tough, and it's not always milk and honey like everybody thinks. Because the main consensus of people look at salons is like, oh, wow, they're making a lot of money. They're so successful. You do not know what they had to go through to get there, and you don't know how much if that salon's been sold a couple of times before it got to the right person's hands that can be able to put a lot of time and effort into it to grow it to where it is. And that's also another option for a lot of guys that are going into salon ownership. Before you get there to salon ownership, you just got to build your team first. Find people that that are interested in working with you. Have a small team. You can potentially find a salon where it's being sold because they just don't have the manpower or the time to invest in that salon anymore, and you can get it for a good deal and just take over the lease. And you don't have to worry about all the building, the permitting. That's the toughest. Building a new salon is probably the toughest. My recommendation is always buy a salon because the building process is definitely excruciating. And buying one that's already established, if you have the money, buy one that it's already established, that is going to be run operating already. They may have nail techs there, but don't assume the nail tech's going to stay when you buy it. Majority of the time, most of them will leave. But bring your own team. And being a salon owner is pretty much cut and dry, that same process. You either buy, you build. I always recommend buying someone that's built a salon before. I never want to go through the building process again, especially if you don't have a good contractor. The permitting is just excruciating. But yeah, that's pretty much my input on salon ownership. And I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. And let me know what you think in the comments. And like always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and support the channel a little bit. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys on the next vlog. Okay, later.